The Galactic Council had always viewed humanity with a mixture of fascination and horror. These Deathworlders, as they were known throughout the galaxy, hailed from a planet so violent and chaotic that most civilized species would consider it uninhabitable. Earth's gravity was crushing, its weather systems apocalyptic, and its native life forms absurdly aggressive. Yet somehow, these humans had not only survived but thrived in such conditions. What made them truly remarkable, however, was their inexplicable kindness. Ambassador Zephyr of the Crystalline Collective still remembered the first human delegation's arrival at the council chambers. They had walked in with their predatory forward-facing eyes and their bone-crushing handshakes, yet they spoke of peace, cooperation, and mutual aid. They offered medical assistance to plague-stricken worlds, shared their impossible agricultural techniques with starving colonies, and volunteered for the most dangerous rescue missions without hesitation. The galaxy had learned to rely on their generosity. When the methane breathers of Titan 7 faced extinction due to atmospheric poisoning, it was human engineers who spent 3 years in hazmat suits, breathing recycled air, to build filtration systems. When the peaceful herbivore alliance was threatened by the carnivore syndicate, human peacekeepers stepped in, somehow convincing both sides to negotiate rather than fight. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the human xenobiologist, exemplified this puzzling nature. She had spent a decade studying the dying coral forests of Aquatica Prime, living underwater in a pressure suit that would have killed most species within hours. Her research had saved an entire ecosystem, and she had done it with a smile, refusing any payment beyond basic supplies. But everything changed on what the galactic community now simply called the Day. It began with a routine trade dispute. The hegemony of tall grasses had defaulted on a grain shipment to the human colony of New Geneva. The humans had sent polite requests for payment, then formal notices, then diplomatic protests. Each communication was met with sneering dismissal from the hegemony's officials, who considered the Deathworlders to be nothing more than useful barbarians. What will they do? Overlord Swaingbend had laughed during a recorded council session. Cry at us with their water-leaking eyes? These emotional primitives are too soft for real politics. The hegemony had made a critical error in judgment. On the morning of the day, every human representative in the galaxy simply stopped. They ceased their humanitarian missions, recalled their aid workers, and politely declined all requests for assistance. The human fleet, which had been patrolling trade routes and protecting merchant vessels from pirates, returned to Earth space. The researchers, doctors, engineers, and peacekeepers who had become indispensable to countless worlds quietly packed their belongings and left. Within 72 hours, the galaxy began to collapse. Pirates, emboldened by the absence of human patrol ships, attacked merchant convoys with impunity. The plague on Zirion, for which human medics had been containing for months, exploded across 3 star systems. The atmospheric processors on New Kepler, maintained by human technicians, began failing. Trade routes that had depended on human translation protocols dissolved into chaos as species reverted to pre-contact isolation. The hegemony of tall grasses found their grain exports blocked by human customs ships, technically legal, as humans controlled 3 critical hyperspace junction points. Within a week, the hegemony's economy was in freefall. Ambassador Zephyr watched the chaos unfold from his crystal tower, finally understanding the terrible truth. Humanity's kindness had never been weakness, it had been restraint. These creatures who could survive on a world that would kill most galactic citizens, who could run for hours without stopping, who could lift objects that would crush other species, who could function on minimal sleep and survive injuries that would be fatal to others, they had been choosing to be gentle. When the panicked hegemony delegation arrived at Earth, begging for forgiveness and offering triple payment for their debt, the human response was swift and decisive. The payment was accepted, the aid missions resumed, and the galaxy slowly returned to normal. But everyone remembered the lesson. The Deathworlders were not kind because they were weak. They were kind because they were strong enough to choose to be.